Hello, welcome to Views Reviews, where I review black movies that are primarily featured on the Tubi network. If you don't have the Tubi network, you can download it to your phone, tablet, or streaming device. It's free to watch. And in case you don't know, my name is Buford Jones, and I am your host. I am Bew of Views Reviews. So without any further delay, we're going to get right into this. The review today is for the movie Father Knows Best. It's a 2025 movie that was written by Erling D. Gilford Shine, and it was directed by Michael Maha Bridges. Let me get right into this. So the main character, Zoe, moves in with her father after the death of her mother. And why this is so, I'm not sure, because she was living with her grandmother. But as we go through this review, we'll address that as well. Her father says he needs her to run the family business, which apparently is stripping and prostitution. He's going to teach her the family business. But what we mainly see is Zoe and her business associate, her fellow employee, what have you, whose name is Precious, dressing provocatively and meeting men wearing masks, where for crazy large amounts of money, they're supposed to dance and I guess maybe sleep with this person. What ends up happening is they drug him and rob him. Now, the way this supposedly works, Zoe's father sets these up. His name is Quentin. Quentin sets these up, and Lucky is along to make sure that they stay safe. But then, of course, they drug their victims and then they rob them. Now, here's where the problem comes in. At some point, what happens is they rob the wrong person. They drug him, rob him, but then as he's drugged and out, his pregnant sister comes in and they kill her. Precious kills her. Let's make that a point because all this is going to come back later in this ratchet review. But Zoe ends up getting blamed for it by Precious, which comes later. Now, and that's where the issue comes in the movie, because then what happens is Zoe tells her father, Quentin, that she's tired of working his business and she's going back home to her grandmother and her brother who are in North Carolina. I'm not sure where they are, but apparently they're further down south. I'm assuming maybe Florida or Louisiana, possibly Texas. I'm not sure. There's a lot of New York references, which also doesn't make a lot of sense because a lot of this movie does not make sense. So then, T-Bone, who's the guy that they robbed and they killed his sister, kills Quentin, who is Zoe's father, after she goes to North Carolina. Then he threatens her and her brother and her grandmother. If Zoe does not give him, I believe it's $3.6 million, then he will kidnap and kill the brother and the grandmother, which he does kidnap them, but he doesn't kill them. I don't want to give away what ends up happening. Also, I'll say, in case you watch it, this is a cliffhanger, so it appears that they plan on having a second movie. Now, this review is going to be very short on the review part and long on the ratchet part. So first, I'll go with the good. The good of this movie is they made it. Whoever it was wrote it. They had the idea. They had it written and produced it and created it and were able to get it put on the Tubi network. And so for that, I give them kudos. That was a good thing for you. There's a lot of worse things you could have been doing, and you decided to make an artistic endeavor. I commend you for that. Outside of that, not a whole lot. There's a whole lot bad about this movie. We can start with the filming. The filming was bad. Terrible camera angles, terrible editing, terrible sound, and terrible acting. One thing that hasn't been mentioned a whole lot in this is the music that's playing during it, which is sometimes called the score, depending. I don't really call it the score when there's vocal music playing. So it looked to me like this is an excuse to play some of the rap music that the friends of the writer or producer may have had, and so they play these songs at inappropriate moments. But the worst thing of all was the story itself. The story itself made no sense at all. So I'll try to work through it kind of chronologically, but there's so much. And some of these things will bleed into the ratchetness part, and so I want that to have its own part as well. Or why don't we just say that the bad and the ratchet are the same? The things that are bad about it made it ratchet, and things that are ratchet about it made it bad. So let's start there. So first, we have this father who is taking his daughter from the grandmother. When you watch it, you'll see that's fuzzy part two, because it made it look like the grandmother lived right down the street. And first it made it look like the father came to take the daughter from the grandmother, but the grandmother was there. None of that made sense. I didn't even try to make it make sense. Even after 2 or 3 watchings, it didn't make sense. I didn't even try to make it make sense. But the father is going to teach his daughter the business of robbing people, basically. That's the family business. We're going to act like strippers and prostitutes, and we're going to rob people. That's what we're going to do. In fact, in the first maybe 5-6 minutes, she mentions that there have been times when she had to do things with the clients that she didn't really want to do, to which he basically said, hey, too damn bad. That's part of the business. Bruh, how did you teach her that? Then at one point, well, during that same conversation, he tells her how she needs to go and put on the outfit that the guys like, and start telling her how hot she looks like her mama did. Oh, that's crazy ratchet. I mean, crazy ratchet. The next thing is, then she gets in an argument with Precious, and that part has to be seen. Everyone will laugh, I'm certain, because it's just as phony as it could possibly be. Precious talks like she's threatening. Zoe, they have some back and forth. There is no threat. It's very obviously, there is no threat. It's very obvious that Precious doesn't want any of that. She already knew it before she said what she said. Apparently Zoe isn't much of a threat either, because she let her talk to her like that and she didn't do anything about it. It's all stupid. It's all ratchet. I can barely even address it. It's just that crazy. Next, they're robbing these guys. They're going over there. They're drugging them. And the way that they drug them, it shows them drugging them. The guys would have to be stupid. They'd have to be absolutely brainless to go for this. But you know, they're drugging their drinks. It's always in a red Solo cup. Maybe that's one of the requirements they have. But the craziest part of it is they're paying stacks of money. I've never, what's the word here? I've never patronized a woman for her company. Okay. And so maybe that's how it's done. Maybe it costs tens of thousands of dollars. The way they were talking, it was like hundreds of thousands of dollars. I can't imagine any woman in the hood, any woman anywhere. I mean, maybe in Japan or Dubai or somewhere, they've bred these women specially for the purpose of this type of high-end pleasure. I can't see it personally, but hundreds of thousands of dollars for this Zoe chick. And when you see her, no, I am not shaming this woman. This is a beautiful black woman. I'm not paying $100,000 to have sex with you, beautiful black woman, or the precious woman, who's again a beautiful black woman. I can't judge by my own taste against someone else's taste. Someone might think that these are the most beautiful women they've ever seen. I don't. I also don't think that they're refined enough, in my opinion, that people are going to be paying hundreds of thousands of dollars and find that worth it. I don't see that. The third part of that makes that crazy is her father is setting this up. So these people know who they've talked to. They know who sent these people over there. Then they get drugged, they wake up, they've been robbed, and they have no idea what happened. And fourth, you can tell by the scenery. Anyone who's lived in a small town, anyone who's ever been to a small town in the South, you know what they look like. They don't look like the big towns. They don't look like the town I live in is not, it's a moderate-sized place. All total, not 1 million people, even in the outlying areas. However, it's not the backwoods South country like this place in this movie. I'm going to give a shout out to Leeton, Alabama. If you've been to Leeton, Alabama, that's where it looks like this was shot. I have cousins and 1 million relatives in Leeton, Alabama. So if you're from Leeton, we're probably good kinfolk. Shout out. Anyway, then all kind of stuff stops making sense. Zoe has a boyfriend named Levi who's supposedly from New York, and he's mixed up with her father some kind of way, and everybody's supposed to be New Yorkers. This is very, very, very obviously not New York. I'd be very surprised if any of these were really, well, I can't say any of them, because Jamal Woodard, who played Biggie in Notorious, is in this. I've seen him in a bunch of Ratchet movies, though, and we'll get to some of the other ones. Shout out to Jamal, who is the bright spot in this movie, but he's just not in it long enough. But okay, but as I was going to say, I think he's a New Yorker. He's played New Yorkers anyway, so okay, maybe there are some New Yorkers in the movie. However, but back to what I was saying about the small town, there's no way this is happening more than once in a small town and nobody's talking about it. People can't be that desperate for women or sex in any kind of way that they're just going to keep going for it over and over and over and over and over in a town that looked like it had maybe 20,000 people total, including kids and old people. Let's go to T-Bone. When T-Bone starts, he finds out who Zoe is. How? I'm not sure how he found. Well, because they're in a town of 20,000 people and people keep getting robbed by the same two girls in a mask. I mean, it's like the eye mask, only an eye part of the mask. You know, like you don't know who these people are. I mean, when you watch it, and please watch it. To the writer and the producers, I'm telling people to watch it, even though it's ratchet. But I mean, we expect that. And I like ratchet movies. That's why I watched it in the first place. So I'm saying, watch the movie. And then please, in the comments, tell me what you think about it. Moving on. The T-Bone character calls Zoe, and he tells her she has X amount of time. X amount of time. As the time counts down, he keeps counting down with it. And then when there's like an hour left, suddenly it's 12 hours. It was a matter of hours. And then when it got way down, then it was 12 hours. Okay, yeah, whatever. That ain't gangster, bro. That ain't gangster. Can y'all tell that I'm worked up about the ratchetness of this? Actually, I'm excited about it, though, because the other two movies that I've reviewed haven't been especially ratchet. This one is especially ratchet. There's so much in this. There's so much. I could go probably an hour explaining how ratchet it is, but I'm not going to do that. I want you to watch the movie. Let's get these views up and let's watch these movies. Let's support our black film creators, regardless if they're good, if they're bad. Let's support them. They're doing something positive, and I commend that. So, to wrap this up, my ratchet rating for this movie, my ratchet rating, I gave it 8 and 6 clicks. 8 ratchets, 6 clicks. It could have been worse. Could have been. There were no gratuitous sex scenes in the movie. They were trying to get close to it, but they never showed people just having sex. Okay, that's something that really makes things ratchet. They did have a death. It was terrible. It was terrible. The blood didn't look real. But there wasn't an excessive use of the N-word, which was surprising. There was some in there. But so the movie could have been a whole lot more ratchet, but it was not. So 8 and 6 clicks. That's my ratchet review for this. Now, if you agree, if you disagree, please leave me a note. Leave me a comment down below. Please like, comment, share this video. Please do. I'll make more of them, and I'm planning to make them at least one a week. Tell me what frequency you'd like to see these in. And I know people are saying, this guy talks a whole bunch of stuff about how bad these movies are. Can he do better? Yes, I can. I can prove it. I've got movies I've written, and if you'd like to discuss it in any kind of way, send me an email right here and put the word script in the description. I love writing. I love good writing. I love reading writing. Any kind of way you want to talk to me about your script, or wanting to make a script, or have an idea for a script, or anything about movie writing or scripts, again, send it here. Put the word script in the description. I thank you for your time. And I'm on the fence about which movie I'm going to make a review about next. I believe the next one I'm going to do is called Daddy Dearest. But I might not, because there's another one that I saw called Against All Odds that was extremely ratchet, and it needs some attention. So, again, with the same, please comment down below. Tell me which one you want to see. That's the one I'll review, and I'll see you here next week. Thank you.